Here we have a very interesting case where it's a moral dilemma that actually has divided family members. A woman dies unexpectedly. Her friends report that she wanted her journals and her artwork destroyed if she were ever to die unexpectedly, which she did. Some members of the family want to respect their mother's wishes. Others believe that these items, the journal, the artwork, are so valuable that they should be preserved. And so here we have another dilemma where we have certain moral obligations that seem to conflict with one another. On the one hand is the obligation to respect someone's wishes. We might think of this in terms of keeping a promise, but you'll note that no promise was ever made by the family members to destroy the journals and the artwork. It's interesting, actually, that the mother never shared her desire for this to happen with the family members. But at any rate, no family member ever made a promise to their mother in this case. However, it does seem as though the wishes of the mother is that these journals and this artwork should be destroyed. So that's one obligation we have, is to respect the wishes of our family member, especially as regards something that they have the right over, their own property. On the other hand, there are benefits that could accrue to the family members if these things were not destroyed. Any of us who have lost loved ones know that artifacts are very important to us. If you have letters from that person, if you have videos, pictures, things that can help keep their memory alive in your mind, those are very valuable. So generally speaking, we have an obligation to preserve our heritage. And I think what we're seeing happening here is a dilemma between preserving a heritage and respecting the wishes of a loved one. You've talked about this in the forum already. I usually see students fall almost equally on both sides of this issue. One reason, of course, to destroy the journals and the artwork is if you do believe that the wishes of the mother were to have these things destroyed, then it's pretty straightforward. If the mother were still alive, she would have the right to do whatever she wanted to with her own belongings. And so if she wanted them destroyed, she would have them destroyed. Now, just because the mother's no longer here, for many of us, that does not change our obligation to respect her wishes as far as how her belongings should be treated. On the other hand, many of us do feel as though these sorts of artifacts are quite valuable. I would say one reason I have seen that students will decide in this dilemma that it's okay to preserve those things is that they're not sure, all things considered, that this was a serious desire of their mother to have these things destroyed. If it were a serious desire, she might have put it in her will, or she would have told family members. Now, it might be that she couldn't trust family members to do this, or perhaps some of the things that are written in the journal are things that the family members might find offensive or difficult to deal with. But at any rate, there might be some doubt as to whether, all things considered, this is something that the mother would have wanted. One other thing I'll share with you is a thought experiment that I will often go through if I'm thinking about my parents, both of whom have passed away. One thing I really respected about my parents, even though they were older than me, obviously, much older, they changed their minds on things that we discussed. I would put forward my arguments, they would put forward theirs, and they would actually change their minds. And I always respected that because a lot of times parents don't feel comfortable being persuaded by their children. So I have a thought experiment, and I think you might find it helpful. And I might share this with the woman in this case. Let's say that the mother could come back and you'd have a chance to have a long discussion with her. Why did you want these things destroyed? And let me share with you why we don't want to destroy them. Can you, with integrity, think that maybe she would change her mind? With regards to issues with my parents, I wonder what they would think about this or that. I imagine them coming back and having a conversation with me. And if with integrity, not because this is what I want to do, but with integrity I can say, I really do believe that if my mother had known the whole story, her view on this would change. then I can, I think, with integrity, make the according or the appropriate decision or act accordingly. So it's something to think about. If the person were able to come back and you could talk with them and give them all the information, then what would they think? There is some reason to doubt that this was the desire of the mother in this case, but I think you can give a good, strong argument either way in this case, and I'm sure that you've done that in the forums.